What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today with the review for The Haves and the Have-Nots. This is season 7, episode, I think this is 17. I'm not sure. It'll be correct in the description below. And the episode, I think, is titled No More Time. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this episode, shall we? All right, you guys, so I'm going to be honest with you. This episode was not that good to me. There were a lot of things in here that I could have done without. So let's just jump into it. So the episode, it opens up, you guys remember, in the last episode, Benny was on the phone with Veronica while he was at the realtor's office. And, she was telling him that she found the information on Derek. And he kept asking Veronica for the information. She said, come over. He said, give me the information, Veronica. She said, come over. Then eventually, Benny says, you know what? I'll come over, Veronica. And I should have this in my notes. Like, I literally forgot that Benny was at that realtor's office. When she came back in, I was like, oh, shit, he is at this realtor's office. So, her phone was still ringing. I'm thinking it's Sandy that's calling her. And he just said, you know what, your phone ringing off the hook. I got something that I got to take care of, and I'm going to hit you back later. So then we see Catherine. Catherine is talking to, I guess that's the chief. And, she's like, I've been here all day. I haven't gotten a phone call, and I haven't even got an update on Wyatt. Well, he does give her an update on Wyatt. The fact that Wyatt got away. She said he's not that smart. Correct. Wyatt's not that smart, but obviously this police force is very incompetent that they let him get away. I mean, come on. He had a hospital gown on, for God's sakes. I would hope that officer that was supposed to stand guard at Wyatt's door gets fired, because that is ridiculous. You leave a prisoner. Okay. So then, she's talking about she's not gonna let him deliver Wyatt to the Malones. And then, they start talking about, her shooting Jennifer Salison. She's like, I didn't do that. I'm like, Catherine, I know you up here lying, but girl, you know you did that. Talking about Veronica did it. As much as I hate Veronica, I wish it was Veronica, but girl, it was you. He talking about, she'll be in there for a while. Okay. Okay, let's move on. All right, and then let's talk about Veronica. So at Veronica's crib, her doorbell rings. I guess she forgot that she sent Laura out on a mission, because the doorbell rang. She couldn't see who it was at the door. So Samuel, he's still downstairs in the same fucking spot that he's been in for the last 2 episodes. He's still in that same spot, just cleaning the pool. I'm like, bruh, if that pool ain't clean by now, I don't know what it's going to take, because you've been in that same spot for the last, 2 or 3 episodes. You've been in that same exact spot cleaning this pool. If it ain't clean now, if it wasn't clean before, it definitely ain't clean now. So, she asked Sam, can he go check on the door, because, her camera's not working. And so he goes to the door, and at the door, it's Celine. So he tells Veronica, it's for her. And she goes and grabs a gun. And then, when she realizes it's Celine, she puts the gun back. She goes downstairs where Celine is. Celine tells Veronica that, she is getting evicted, and she has an eviction notice on her door. And Veronica was like, well, how much is the rent? She said $1,200. She said, you don't have $1,200? Veronica, not everybody has $1,200 just to spare. Unlike your hateful ass. Veronica said, I'm not giving you no money. She said, but what I will do is I go talk to the judge. And Celine said, also my lights are off. I'm like, wait a minute, Celine. So you're about to be evicted and your lights are off? Girl, you knew this was coming a long time ago. You should have said something weeks ago. But, maybe she thought she could have, figured it out by now. Girl, what about that son? What about your sons? They not working? Like, your sons don't work? Especially Jimmy, who went to go threaten David. I mean, not David, Jim. All right. So, yeah, she said she's going to go to see the judge. She said, you think I'm going to ask the judge for $1,600? I'm going to ask him for $50,000. Did she say 50,000 or 50 million? I think she said 50,000. Can't remember. And then she's like, I was going to tell you to look bad, but you're already there. But don't look this bad when we go to the judge. I'm like, God damn, Veronica can't go without insulting someone for a hot second. So after Celine left, she went back in there where Samuel is, And she asked Sam, does he know how to fix a camera? He says, I know a little bit, but I can call my friend. She says, no, you go check it out first. And if your friend, and if you can't do it, then call your friend. I'm like, why not just call the friend first? He says he knows a little bit about it, but whatever, Veronica, that's. And then, you know, she once again comes on to him talking about she likes sweaty. I'm like, Veronica, you hot in the puss. Now then, let's talk about Hannah real quick. So Hannah's over at the Cryers, and she's looking through this, you know, the documents that she got, you know, from Marty with this situation with the power of attorney from Catherine. So then she calls this guy, his name is Al. I guess he's a pastor. Don't know much about him. So, you know, she's telling him that she doesn't really understand what she's reading. And, you know, she asks him if he can come help her. He says, yes. She says, how much is this going to cost me? He says, oh, no, it's on the house. And then he's talking about, you know, I saw you in church before, but I've never, you know, came up to introduce myself to you. I'm like, Hannah, do you not catch the signs? This man is flirting with you. This man, I mean, she obviously didn't catch it because she says, how much is it going to cost? He says, nothing. He says, actually, coffee. She's like, huh? I'm like, Hannah, are you this oblivious? The man is asking you out on a date. Damn. She can't read the room, obviously. But let's move on. All right, you guys, and next, Benny. So Benny showed up over to Veronica's, and you know, he is demanding the information that Veronica has on Derek. Veronica says, what you gonna give me? Kind of like Joy from Friday when, you know, Craig asked her for some money. Nigga, what? Nigga, how much? Some, huh? Nigga, how much you need? What you gonna do for me? I love that scene. That is my favorite scene. Wait a minute. Who the fuck is that bitch? Fuck you, motherfucker. You think you're slick. Won't come up here and ask me for some money. Well, ask that bitch for some money. I'm sorry. That scene, this episode is just, I'm probably going to be all over the place, unfortunately, because the episode, it wasn't bad. It wasn't boring to me. It just, some of these things just did not make sense to me. So, you know, she gives him the file. Once again, this time she's insulting Hannah, talking about she was beautiful when she was young. She was beautiful when she was younger, but now her foot, she kept calling her foot face. I'm like, that is this boy's mama. And you want him to fuck you, but you sitting there and disrespecting you talking about shit about his mama. Oh my God. I couldn't with her. And then, you know, she said Derek was never arrested for the rape, but he was arrested for something, you know, a robbery or something else. So Benny asked her for the address, and, you know, she kept talking about Hannah. I'm like, Veronica, you just asked the man to have sex with you, but you're talking about his mama, how ugly she is. And you expect for him to sit here and actually want to sleep with you? Okay, I can't. And then I think oh God, yes we are. I'm about to get into the scenes that irritated my spirit. So I'm gonna pause right here and get into them. All right, so the first scene that irritated my spirit was Justin and his brother, Tanner, I think that's his name. So Tanner is apologizing to Justin for beating him up. And he asked him, will he do it again? Justin says, no. I'm like, Justin, you're lying. You still got that fucking shrine to Jeffrey in front of you. You're lying like a motherfucker. So then, you know, he asked him, you know, Tanner asked Justin what happened to him. He didn't tell him that Veronica had him beat up because, you know, what he did to her. He said he just pissed off some of the wrong people. So then he's talking about, you know, are you going to fix it with your wife? The man is gay. What do you want him to, shit. I think Tanner's gay too, like low key. Tanner got to be gay. Like, I don't understand why a straight person is so concerned about what a gay person is doing. It makes no sense to me. If he ain't fucking trying to fuck you or your kids, why do you care? Doesn't make sense to me. That shit actually that is actually getting on my nerves. I mean, I know there are homophobes in the world, but goddamn, Tyler Perry, do you have to always, I mean, we already have one homophobe on this show. We don't need two. But yeah, whatever. Then the second scene that got on my nerves, Jim. I'm still trying to figure out why the hell Jim is in this hospital bed with this. I mean, they got the bullet out. He's in a sling. Even Jim said what I was thinking. Give him some fucking pain medication and send him on his way. But he said he felt like hell, and the doctor was like, well, you said you felt like hell. So because somebody feels like hell, they're supposed to sit in the hospital bed taking up the taxpayers' dollars? Right. You a quack. Like, what the fuck? Even insurance is not going to pay for that at a certain point of time. Okay. If you guys can't tell, I just got frustrated. So David comes in, and they were talking about Wyatt as well. He knows somebody that can help Wyatt. David comes in. David tells him he went to the bar, saw Wyatt's car, but no sign of Wyatt. They think that Wyatt sold the car. I don't care. So then Jim pings the car. It's moved over to near the loft. And he also tells, David says he's going to go check it out, like a good old boy he is. And then Jim says, well, will you check on the battle axe as well? Yes, Jim, I'll do that. I'm just like, David, you are a fool. This man has done nothing for you. Okay. Then the next scene that got on my nerves. Jeffrey, Madison, and Colby. Why do we need this? Why? So you guys remember Jeffrey was going to the hospital so that he and Madison can go on their lunch date. Jeffrey is smiling from ear to ear. Madison's like, what are you smiling for? Oh, I know what you're smiling about, because we had such a great night last night and had such a good morning. And Jeffrey's like, is that what you think? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, I was in the shower and then there was a naked man there. He's like, I wasn't there. He says, oh no, it wasn't you. It was Colby. So then Colby comes out, and then they start playing a little game with Madison. And Madison gets jealous, and I'm just like, can we do without this scene, please? And thank you. Like, for real. Let's do without it. I don't need it. I don't want it. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So before I get to this next scene that I want to talk about, let's talk about these other two scenes that irritate the shit out of me. Charles, Landon, and Oliver. I don't understand why we have them on this. I don't understand them. I'm frustrated when it comes to those three for sure. So we see Charles and Landon. They're talking to his kids about, what it's like, what it means to live in the White House. What their dad gets to do. Him with the Easter egg hunt, the pardoning of the turkey. I was like, do we really, really need this scene? Do we? No. I was irritated. And then I'm just sitting here looking at Landon and Charles after the kids left. I'm like, there is underlying sexual tension here. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, make it make sense to me. Because I was confused. I'm just like, this makes no earthly sense to me. I'm irritated. I'm tired of this. And then we also saw Oliver. So Oliver came in to mess with Landon because he overheard Landon's conversation with Charles. I'm like, there's some sexual tension there too. So while all three of these men gay, because I was just like, oh God, this is torture. So Oliver does tell Landon that Candace was at the Savannah Hotel. Mitch came over there. She also went to the drugstore and she got some stuff. He didn't tell him what she got, but it's safe to assume she got a pregnancy test. It's safe to assume that she might be pregnant by Charles. It's safe to assume that I don't really care. Let's move on. All right, guys, and we're actually wrapping this episode up. I don't know how long this video is. It might be short. It might be long. Well, it ain't long, but I know it's probably short, but I don't think it's that short. Mitch went to the bar. Sandy was at the bar with the drink in his hand, and he has this badass attitude. I'm like, for somebody that act like they Boosie badass, you was a punk ass downstairs when your uncle asked you to shoot Wyatt. And then he's upset at Mitch because Mitch was supposed to be next in line, but now that he's not in the family business, it's up to Sandy, and Sandy doesn't have the heart to kill anybody. But again, you got all this mouth. Make it make sense. Which one is it? You're scary as fuck or you're hardcore. One of the two, you can't be both. You can't be scary as fuck but then hardcore. Like, Sandy, make that shit make sense. So then he's also upset about the girl Brianna. That's her name. I don't think we ever got the girl's name in these episodes that she's been on. So then Benny shows up and he asks Mitch, like, why did he lie to him? Mitch said he had to do it. We all know Candace asked him to lie to Benny. So Benny then asked Mitch for the address of Derek. He says, I don't have it. Then they went back and forth. I'm like, Benny, he said he doesn't have it. Let it the fuck go. Stop badgering him. Because you're badgering me at this point. Like, seriously. All right, Jed. I realize this episode really, I can say for sure this episode irritated me. And I didn't expect for it to. I thought it would be a good episode. But it frustrated me because there was no resolve. There was no real resolve with this episode. I don't know what we got out of it. Actually, we didn't get anything out of this episode. The more that I think about it. Nothing. Not a one thing came out of this episode. I can't even say that this was a filler episode because that gives a filler a bad name. And I want to say this. It's not that I don't like the show. I still love the show. I still enjoyed the show. It's just at certain times I just look at things and it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, some things I just don't understand. And I want to understand it. So don't take it as he hates the show. No, I don't. Because if I hated this show, I wouldn't be reviewing the show. I like the show. It's just sometimes it just feels to me that we don't have a clear direction of where we're going. Like, because this episode, I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, I knew what was going on with Benny, but Benny was just getting on my nerves, honestly. And then this whole storyline with Jeffrey, Justin, Madison, and now Colby, that one I really have no idea where the hell the storyline is going. What the fuck? And then Hannah, let's get back to this. So yeah, Mitch told him he ain't had an address. I'm so tired of Sandy saying the blacks. If I could reach through the TV screen and slap the shit out of Sandy, I would. Then if he say the blacks one more time. So, you know, Benny left upset with Mitch. Mitch and Sandy got into it. I'm like, oh my God, why? So then we see Benny. So Benny went over to the Cryer's house to talk to Hannah. He tells her that Veronica told him that Derek raped her. And then he asked her for Derek's address. She says, I'm not giving you Derek's address. And what you need to do is you need to leave before I call the police. I'm like, Hannah, you would really call the police on your son? God damn, that is terrible. You would call the cops on your son. Okay, Hannah, you must don't care about your black son. But okay, I'm just going to put it out there. So then we see Benny. He's getting ready to leave. And who pulls up but Derek? I'm like, oh, thank God. Finally. Just let him beat his ass and we can be done with this shit. Because I'm over it at this point. So, I mean, and again, I'm going to say it one more time. It's not that I hate the show. I like the show. I enjoyed the show. It's just that the direction of, I'm confused about what the direction is. I don't know where we're going with some of these storylines. I don't understand them. How long is Catherine going to be in jail? How long is Jim going to be in the fucking hospital? How long are we going to have to deal with Charles? When is this storyline going to wrap up with Justin, Jeffrey, Madison, and Colby? Why are we adding more people? When is Veronica going to sleep with Sam? When is Laura going to get shot at? Like, when is all this stuff going to happen? That's where I'm at right now. But you guys, that is the review for the haves and the have-nots. Be sure to like this video. Leave the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about the show, the season. And we'll discuss from there. And until the next time, you guys, do me a big solid favor. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Stay warm or cool, whatever the weather conditions are like in your area. And until the next one, you guys, bye.